Counselors Craft a Curious Path with Ruby and Olivia.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Ruby Miller, a multidisciplinary artist, singer-songwriter, therapist, and wisdom seeker with a background in opera, ceramics, and photography.
And I'm Olivia Candosia. I'm an actor, theater director, voiceover artist, early childhood educator, and drama therapist. We are both neurodiverse therapists who strive to infuse more wonder, authenticity, and joy into modern life. We're here to share our hearts and stories, and in turn, listen to yours. Here we gather with you to craft the curious path of life, therapy, and art. Welcome and co-create with us.
Hi, Olivia. Welcome.
Hi, Caitlin. Welcome.
Welcome to Counselors Craft a Curious Path. Whoa. So this week I was thinking about bringing in something different. So we're going to do a little bit of a divergence from archetypal roleplay, which I have loved so much. Thank you, Olivia. Oh my gosh. Loved it so much. Anyway, so we'll do a little bit of a divergence. I was talking about this with a couple other colleagues as well. The archetype of the wounded healer. So I was thinking about sort of I was thinking that as Olivia, you are coming into the world now that you've graduated as a therapist and developing your identity as a therapist and building a clientele and all of that jazz, that talking about your journey as it relates to the wounded healer could be powerful for listeners to hear, and I'm happy to lead with my portions of it too as well. But I guess the general concept of the wounded healer for me is essentially scars that we carry with us, difficult experiences that we have survived from the time we were born until the present moment are things that we have literally survived, number one, because we're still alive, but two, we've made meaning out of and we've coped with. So even if some of these wounds still feel like fresh and vulnerable, we have still walked on and found a way to continue to live. So with that in mind, that's like the wounded component, and we all experience this. It's a commonality of all human beings. That's the wounded part. The healer part is both you and I have felt called to become therapists, and I think you and I in our life stories have tried to help heal people and heal ourselves through art as well before we led to a more traditional path as a therapist. But the wounded healer archetype for me is really powerful because it's essentially saying healing practitioners, we don't need to pretend to be perfect and pretend to be unfazed and pretend that nothing has ever affected us. And that was in some ways the originating of the therapy profession with psychoanalysis with Freud. The therapist was supposed to be a blank slate, that the patient projected upon and got back meaning. But the therapist is essentially not even a human. Mm-hmm. So one of the beautiful things about the profession of psychotherapy is now we're at a point where lived experience, lived trauma are scars that we carry with us, how we've coped, how we've survived, how we've been transformed by them. That matters much more than it previously was in the therapy community. But I think that being really cognizant of that and sharing that with people can be really powerful. So a way that shows up for me in sessions with my clients is if they're experiencing something and I think it would be helpful to them to hear oh, I have been here as well. Mm-hmm. I have had clients just look at me like, what? Mm-hmm. You've been here too? I feel so seen. And also often our clients, particularly ones that choose to work with us for a long time, look up to us and we're kind of a mentor figure. And so to be oh, this person can survive it and they can thrive and they can be where they're at, and now they're along with me in my journey. So with all of that said, do you want to share any thoughts you have about the wounded healer or your healer journey?
I'm thinking about how there's always that stereotype about therapists being like, oh, they're all just like wounded and like they're just trying to heal from their own trauma. And I remember hearing that and being like,
Correct.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I remember being like, that's not what I'm doing. Like, I was
Hmm.
really like,
Yeah.
that's like, I don't identify with that. Like, and I still don't think that's like the core reason that I went into therapy. Maybe
Mhm.
it is, and we'll discover it through this. But like, um, I remember kind of rolling my eyes at that, being like, "Oh my god!" But now
Yeah.
that I've been able to practice for a year, oh my god, weird.
That's so cool.
Um, I am really seeing. I think before I was only hearing the harm that that causes,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
unethical things that can happen there, the dangers, and now
Hmm.
I am seeing the benefit and the merit to it and the value. That's all the same word, just in a different
Hmm.
different letters.
Hmm.
Because I too have shared with clients too when they're talking about something they've gone through, and I'm like, girl, you don't even know what it could be because I did
Yeah.
this and they'll just be laughing at like, oh my god, like I thought I was crazy. I'm like, First off, this is developmentally appropriate. Second off, like, no, we
Yeah.
all flop around sometimes. Like that's part of existing, and like I I I feel like there's in culture right now a hesitation to fail or try things, and so people don't do anything. Uh, there's also this cancel culture that like people don't forgive people for making mistakes, and your identity is that one mistake you made in the past, and you're stuck with it forever. And so that puts people in this like freeze kind of state.
Yes.
So if I can be one of many therapists, hopefully that can model that like, nah, we gotta make mistakes. Like it's okay, and I'm here with you, and I'm not gonna judge you. I'm gonna celebrate you actually for trying something, even if it doesn't go the way you wanted it to go. Those are my
Oh,
initial thoughts.
oh, that's so touching.
Oh,
Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
I and then I'm thinking about how I was always kind of a misfit. Um, I like would sit at the table with like the special ed kids on one side and then the foreign exchange students on the other and me. And I like I was amicable with like the popular kids and things, but I didn't want to be over there, probably overstimulation, probably whatever. I just wanted to be like in my zone eating food. And also
Yeah.
like I felt more connected with this group of people versus the ones that were a little inauthentic.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so, I mean, every lunch was always so weird for me, Caitlin. Like, I never knew where to sit. There was never, like, elementary school, at least we sat with our homeroom. But then, like, high school, I was really just sometimes sitting alone. Um,
Hmm.
like, it was just like, I sat with somebody who I found out a few years ago died of suicide, and I just think about, like,
Oh,
I know. I think about like the conversations I had with them during high school, and I'm
yeah.
like, well, perchance there was a little bit of joy when they were with me, you know,
Oh,
and
I'm
like
sure there
it's
was.
yeah, and just kind of holding that near and dear in my heart. Just I really did sit with people who didn't feel like they had a place. I was the person that like, and maybe it's just because I always felt different, even though I was able
Mhm.
to like code switch very well. Like I'm very
Yeah.
skilled in popular people like me, and I'm very skilled at having people like me.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
always did feel like, but people don't know all of this, and so I feel like I'm rambling a lot, but it's okay.
Oh, I
Um,
love this. It's not rambling.
I am thinking
Yeah.
about in high school, we did this tradition as theater students where the seniors got to go on top of the roof of the school and kind of just look out and like reflect on our journey. And there was this guy who was like a tech guy, and there's always like this weird like there's actors and then there's tech. There's like this clickiness and and I was more of an actor myself and a leader in the department, and he was kind of all alone while all the actors were like enjoying the stuff, and I just walked over to him and like enjoyed the view with him and talked with him, and
Mm.
it's just like those that's what I remember is like being a place for this person, and like I didn't care that I wasn't with my friends. I get to see my friends all the time, but I wanted to like make this moment special for this person.
I'm thinking like Olivia as a therapist. Okay. Olivia as a therapist helps misfits find a home.
Yeah, and to normalize, like, I don't even know, just normalize the fears and anxieties and insecurities, because you know what? All those other popular people have that too. But
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
might be wearing ours more on our sleeve.
Oh, then maybe it's to help misfits feel that they are a part of all humanity. Like
Hmm.
that their struggles and what they're sensing that is wrong or off about them, that like you carry those same things as well and you
Yeah.
can see them and that it's okay. And also like finding a path. The reason why I was attracted to the word home is that you're like building community with them and offering them an olive branch and like sitting beside them. That is very powerful and probably makes them feel much more seen and um, accompanied.
Yeah. And I always go back to like identity work, existential purpose, and things. And I think
Yeah,
that's the core of it. It's just like finding purpose in who you are and celebrating who you are, because like
yeah,
you are a human with feelings, and your pain is valid, your joys are valid, and other people experience these too. Yes, you are unique, but also you are a part of this. You don't have to be alone in this.
yeah, yeah. I do think that's a huge thread with younger clients too. And by younger, I would say, you know, 12 to 35
Mm-hmm.
is some version of like I feel like the way we have been raised and acculturated between like technology and changes in modern life that our uniqueness is um, out of balance with our common humanity and that like celebrating uniqueness is great and very helpful and like definitely serves a purpose and I'm all for it. But that the feeling of I have a common humanity, I'm connected to other people, I know that there are people I can count on, I know people can see me, I feel not alone and not so existentially lonely that you're kind of finding a way to bridge that gap. Like you, client, are unique and we can celebrate that. And also, you are not alone and I am here with you and I see you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm just getting wrapped up in your words because I'm like, yes.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I.
Um, so I was thinking one of the cool things about the archetype of the wounded healer, at least the way I use it for myself, is like we like Caitlin and Olivia as healers, we have always had some impulse in our behavior, in our hearts, in our soul path that we are enacting out now as therapists. But we've always had that thing inside of us. And I'm imagining like you sitting next to a foreign exchange student in a cafeteria as similar to like you sitting in a room with a client who also feels like literally, I don't speak the language of this culture. I don't fit in. People look at me strangely. I feel kind of icky in my body. I'm not even sure how to be a human. Like I feel I feel like I don't inherently belong. And for you now as like an adult therapist to say, you belong here with me and you belong and let's find a path for you to belong. And it's
I
just
think.
oh
I know. I know. I think about when clients are like, when clients go, I don't know, like what the right thing is to focus in right now or what to talk about, and I'm like, we can talk about anything. Like whatever you're talking about has value and meaning to it. We don't have like I'm not searching for anything with you. Like I'm just here to listen and honor what you're saying, and to give them that space and that permission that like it's okay that we don't talk about your past, and we don't have to fucking talk about your past ever if you don't want to. Like
yeah.
we can just, especially when people are who've had therapy and they're like, oh my god, I have to do this again, I have to do this again, and it's like, no, like you don't have to do that. We can be where we're at. If you want to revisit it, sure, but like I am just here with you. If you just want to talk about what you're going to eat for dinner tonight, great. Like
Yeah, I would say a common experience for people who have had multiple therapists in our culture is essentially therapy is always hard because I talk about hard things. I talk about my trauma. I talk about the experiences I've had that are the most painful, and I revisit them over and over again. And I usually don't feel as though I've made a ton of progress on, like, essentially, what are the most negative emotions you've ever experienced? What were the situations in which they occurred? And let's just dig into them over and over again. So I think that like an approach like what you're describing is so refreshing of you can be a human in this room. You don't have to be a patient. And like part of your humanity is we could dance right now. We could play with like glitter. We could do a role play. We could do drama therapy. We could talk about this new video game you're playing. We could talk about your special interests. We could fidget. We could sing. But like
Right.
you are a human and I am here with you.
100%.
Yeah.
And like, I really, I mean, it's very CBT-esque, but like the reframing of things and being like, wait a minute, let's look at this from another perspective. And I do really, I know that I am skilled in helping people experience joy and see
Yeah.
things from that, like, oh yeah, you're right. Why am I like torturing myself with this other narrative? And I
Yeah.
think my drama therapy background and just like who I am as a person really helps in encouraging a new way to look at something. And then sometimes it's helpful, sometimes it's not. But in that, we discover new things. And that's just something I have just noticed with all the clients I've had is they are just so much happier now.
Oh yeah.
And I, for a while, I'm like, I don't know if I have anything to do with that. Maybe I don't. But I'm
You
also
have
like,
something to do with it. Absolutely.
it's hard for me though because I'm like, well, I only see him like an hour a week. Like, is this
Mm.
real? But it is.
It
And
is. It absolutely is. I can tell
it's
you. Yes.
say more.
I used to have those doubts in my
Yeah.
career as a therapist, and then after you have like thousands of pieces of evidence, you just have
Yeah.
to say, I am humble to the evidence.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
And I think I'm
yeah.
getting to that, but there are still moments where I'm like, well, I don't know. You can't get yourself
Oh yeah,
all
of
that,
course.
you know.
Yeah. But
Um,
also that's part of demonstrating authenticity to your clients too, because if we normalize doubting ourselves, then we show them that they don't have to be as afraid to
yeah.
doubt themselves.
Yeah.
They don't have to be scared of it. It's a part of humanity.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was thinking about how people have okay, so let's just talk briefly about ADHD executive dysfunction because I have a lead into this about joy. So I think our culture essentially thinks of executive functioning as you just need to figure out a way to try harder. And the part of the culture that's more like ADHD friendly is essentially like, let me give you a series of hacks so you can up your productivity and optimize your life. So I have noticed with clients who come in with like severe burnout, severe executive dysfunction, and these are their words, burnout and executive dysfunction, that once they start being happier, they come to sessions and they essentially say, I don't know how I did it, but I just caught up on all my work. I went for a run. I had a nice dinner with my husband. I took my dog for like a 1 mile walk and it was beautiful. We went to the park. I knit this beautiful scarf. Like I'm just like bursting with energy. And I feel like a gift that you have, Olivia, and obviously happiness can help with a lot of things, but just if we're talking about one sort of dysfunctional thing that the therapy industry talks about, joy can literally transform executive dysfunction because part of executive functioning is energy management. And guess what brings humans energy? Pleasure, joy, joy and pleasure. It brings us a lot of energy. And so, like, it's not, even though, like, the quest to find happiness and be happy, that's great, totally legitimate. But even the things that, like, neurodivergent clients, like, who often come to our practice come with, like, joy is an elixir of, like,
Hmm.
healing.
It's literally
It's
a homework assignment I give people.
yeah,
Like,
tell me more. I love that.
I mean, it's
Oh,
like okay, we're being real angry right now. We're really
Yeah.
anxious. We're gonna direct our attention towards joy. You're gonna tell me
Yeah.
about something that you did that was joyful this week, and I say it every week to the person,
Yeah.
and then they come back, and then I don't have
Oh,
to assign it anymore. They just have it because they're
yeah.
training themselves to think that way.
Yeah.
And I
Oh,
even will I'll even say like I know it's very therapist of me, and I'll mock it because I'm meeting them where they're at. Sometimes like I'll say like I saw your eyebrow scrunch. When I say like
yeah. Yeah.
when I say a very therapist term, I'll be like, I know, but that's my job. And like
Mhm. Yeah.
playing with it because I know sometimes when people hear like a therapeutic assignment, it sounds robotic, and so I show them like I hear what I'm saying, and I know you might
Yeah.
interpret it this way.
Well, giving people the homework to experience joy, I actually think is an assignment that a mentor would give, a yoga
Mhm,
instructor would give, like a
mhm.
friend would give, a teacher would give, a drama,
Yeah.
an actor would give, an artist would give. So I feel like that actually doesn't sound super therapist-y.
Mhm,
It's more of, hey, part of my work with clients is to
mhm,
shift them more in the mindset of joy. And a big part of that is us literally practicing talking about it and
mhm.
moving your attentional processes to what did you enjoy or what do you enjoy? So how can we infuse more joy into your life? Because girl, it'll make you feel so much better. So yeah, to me that isn't more therapist-y would be like, um, oh my gosh, I can't even. Oh, let's like practice this specific coping skill that you have to
Sure.
do in this exact way that I found in this book, and it's the only way to help your obsessive compulsive
Yeah, yeah.
ideations. So
It's so
yeah,
funny because to me, I'm like, well, that is therapist because that's my approach. Like, it's what
yeah,
I
yeah,
do. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, I'm so glad that I at least have found a little bit of a voice in my therapeutic practice for how
Oh, totally.
infantile I still am in it. Like, I definitely do
Yeah.
feel like I have a voice, and
But the voice you have found is your own voice, and you have always
yes,
had that voice. That's part of the
yes,
wounded healer thing is like you have literally been training since the moment you came out of the wound to
yes.
be the therapist's womb. Oh, that's so funny. I said wound. That's so interesting. Okay, sorry. I'm going to say it again. You have literally been training since the moment you came out of the womb to be the therapist you are today.
Hmm. Hmm.
You already have that voice. It's
Yes,
there.
yes. I think about my mom when we were kids. This is why I was so outgoing at home because mom would just do like a lot of fun, creative stuff with us. And one of the things she did with us was
Oh,
like, "Whose Line Is It Anyway?" The improv show where they have like random objects and they make a new meaning out of the objects. And my mom would do that. We'd like pass around an item and then we'd say, "Okay, what could this be?" And we'd go until we couldn't come up with anything else.
your mom was
And
literally doing drama therapy with you.
yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh gosh, all the time. Or like guessing foods, doing fun like cooking competitions with each other. Just crafts galore. Almost going overboard. And I remember at one point I was like crying on the floor because I don't know, exhausted from school as an elementary kid. And I'm like, Mom, you have to stop helping me because one day I'm not going to have you and I'm going to have to help myself. Um,
Oh,
just
yeah.
that reflective Olivia. But I still, at the age of 31, I'm asking my mom for help. So
Yeah, good for
it never
you. We
ends.
all need help.
Um, we do. And
Yeah.
I thought that her helping me was going to make me not have any sense of independence, but that's so not true. She actually was really helping me become independent through
Well, and
helping me.
also maybe she helped you grow the skills that you're now applying in your
Yes.
life, including as a therapist of spreading joy and
Hmm.
creating containers for play and empowering people to play and empowering people to get messy, and that's beautiful and is celebrated. She was literally training you.
She was training me and my sister. And
Yeah.
I want to tangent for a second. Just talk about my sister for a moment, who's doing it
Yeah.
all. She's doing silks and things. She's on her own little like road trip right now in Oregon to Canada,
Tell the
and
audience what silks are.
aerial silk. So like things that you see like circus performers perform on those like long silks, and she does the acrobatic kind of stuff with it. But she is doing a performance in October with her silks, and she is performing as the high priestess and has
Oh,
to pick out a
oh,
song a song to go with that. And so she's really been like thinking, and I'm like, okay, Lily, I
Yeah.
know you like that song, but like, does it really have to do with the high priestess, or can you do
Yeah.
that for something else? She's like, okay, I hear your point. You're right,
Oh.
you're right. But um, oh, what is it? What does this have to do with it? Maybe it's so my mom and I were watching a performance of her doing silks, and my mom was like, I am so glad she had you and your siblings growing up because she got to see you guys perform. And we were really good at coaching her as a dancer to be like, listen to the lyrics, listen to what the
Yeah.
song is actually saying. And you can tell when she's dancing that she is paying attention. And
Yeah.
so much so that her silks teacher is like, hey, I don't want you to pay for classes anymore. I want you to teach me how to dance, and I'll teach you more silks if you teach me how to dance. Um,
Oh,
which is
that's
just
amazing.
amazing.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about like teaching each other skills growing up and performance and paying attention to, you know, art
Well, and paying attention to the lyrics is also paying
lyrics.
attention to the story of the song. And I feel like a lot of my work and our work as therapists is a form of storytelling. So, like,
All of
a
it,
thing
all
that,
of it.
yeah, a thing that I'll tell clients in the first session is like a way that I practice therapy is embracing that all psychological theories are essentially a way to tell a story of a person's life, but using specific language and constructs that help the therapist or whoever is engaging with the theory construct a narrative that falls within that theory. And so I said, and so the good news and the bad news is that they're all stories, but the great part about that, if we lean into how positive that can be, is I'll tell clients like, whatever story you have been given can be rewritten
Yes.
and we can rewrite it together, but also for the rest of your life, you can rewrite it. Like you are the narrator of your own life. And so I think having an innate command of storytelling, like you've done with like acting and directing and playing and drama therapy and like all the things you've done, that can be really powerful to be able to tune into what is this client's story and what are
Yes.
ways that I could offer. Because what I'll talk about it is I will offer you different like news stories. I'll offer you news stories about how to tell the story of your life.
Right.
You don't have to accept them. You can tweak them. You can say no. You can try something else.
It's
But
so
like
fun.
we're playing. Yes.
It's so that permission to be like, actually, you're right. Like, or actually,
Yeah.
let's change this word up a bit. Let's do
Yeah.
the reframing. I'm getting lost a little bit. It's
Well,
probably 'cause
it's
I'm hungry.
yeah, a
But
thing I'll give you an anecdote of a reframe is I recently had a session where someone said, I have lost. Oh, it just froze. Can you hear me
you're
and
good.
see
I
me?
can hear you.
Okay. I had a session with a client once where they were talking about I lost the communication skills that I once had with my partner. And I thought to myself, wow, the concept that you've lost the communication skills with your partner that you once had, that almost seems to me as though they're just dead and gone forever. And so I got into more details about what was happening, and we ended up talking about how the period in which the client was saying, I lost the communication skills I once had with my partner was a period of a ton of stress and turmoil in their life and their partner's life. And I was like, well, what if a different story to tell is you have those skills still, you just haven't used them for the past 2 years because both of you have been so stressed out for the past 2 years. Like, so you haven't lost the skills, you still have them, you just haven't used them. And then, like, this is an example of a different story to tell. What do you think about that story?
Yep.
And their face just lights up and they essentially say, wow, I actually do believe I still have these skills. So to me, this is an example of a way a person can rewrite the story of a specific part of their lives that can be so life changing.
And sometimes that can just look like saying, hang on, what do you mean? Or
Mm-hmm.
you're saying
Mm-hmm.
this, just repeating back what they are saying, and they're like, well, yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, tell me more. Using those clinical
Mm-hmm.
skills where they're like, oh, and I'm not even doubting them. I'm just asking. Like, I'm literally
Yeah.
just asking. And it
Yeah.
already is making them start rewiring and clicking stuff
Yeah.
together. Just
Yeah.
by being curious.
Yes. Yeah, curiosity and genuine curiosity is something that is so powerful.
Yes.
in therapy, and you are a genuinely curious
I
person,
am
like
a
in
very
100% of your life.
yes.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. I'm so curious, and you're right. It
Yeah.
is like because you can tell when someone's just asking questions to ask questions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but I think that's why I got such good feedback from my teachers. It's like you're so good at asking questions. I'm like, yeah, it's because I want to know. Like I
You
genuinely.
literally want to. Yeah.
It's not that I'm trying to like do something sneaky or anything. It's really like no, I really care about this person and like uh, want to hear their story. And I don't know. I just love people. I love people. Um, I really
So
love what I do.
beautiful.
I love being in the space, and I love when someone starts crying 5 minutes before session's over, and they're like, "Oh my god, I didn't think we'd get it this far." And it's like, I don't know. I just love being a space where someone can be whatever they are.
Yeah, and I think sometimes creating a container, like a space where they can be wherever they are, can be a place where they can put a lot of their sadness and sorrow and anger and dread and shame, and then they walk out of the space with you and they feel lighter and they feel like they can be more of themselves.
Oh,
So, I think we're gonna wrap the episode this week up a little bit earlier than normal, but I feel like essentially what we got to is introducing the archetype of the wounded healer, what it means to both of us, how it's played out in our lives, and then our work with clients. And I feel like some key sort of concepts that came up for us is Olivia's ability to hold space for misfits to feel more self acceptance, to help clients celebrate play and their individuality. And that this is like an example of this is you've been sitting with people who feel like they don't quite belong for quite a long time, like since a teen or a child, and helping them hold space for their humanity so they can then be celebrated more. And then themes of how powerful joy can be and how energizing joy can be, and bringing that into therapy as a thing to help clients um, practice adding joy to their lives and noticing joy. Um, and then, yeah, I think both of us kind of discussing how the ways in which we've been wounded and the wounds we carry with us can like also hold healing for our clients because we understand the ways in which our struggles have overlapped in ways that are like priceless because you're seen. And so it could be my wound isn't obviously the same as yours and it never will be, but I have been here, I have felt this pain, and I am where I am now, and I see so much beauty in you, client, and so much potential in you, client. And like, this is a space where you can really heal and find a path to being much happier than where you came.
I love it.
Um,
Great synopsis, Caitlin.
yeah, so I think I would be curious about role playing the wounded healer or thinking about things like that. And then when I was thinking about tarot cards that could relate to the wounded healer, I was thinking about the Eight of Cups, which is like a man walking into the mountains, and that's a minor arcana. So, ooh, I mentioned a minor arcana card on an episode, saucy. Um, Two, I thought of the Hermit card, which is in the major arcana, so the idea of like the inner hermitage as sort of like exploring yourself. And then the third one I thought of is the Temperance card, which is like an angel that's like working on balance and holding, I think it's 2 cups of water, and the water is like jumping in between both cups, and then they have 1 foot on the ground and 1 foot in the water. And I think about like out of all the tarot cards, who would I want my therapist to be? And it's the Angel of Temperance, because it's like we hold it all here in our hands, and we can be present in all of it, and it can all be okay, and I am like here for you. So yeah, and also like life being a journey of finding balance all the time. Um, so yeah, I was thinking about that and kind of maybe going back into role play.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But it's
Great.
been very nice to be here with you
Yes,
today,
you too,
Olivia.
Caitlin.
Yeah.
Thanks all for listening.
Yeah.
Um,
And
I hope
I'll do the therapist thing too. Or do you want to jump into the,
no, please do it.
okay. Okay.
Please.
Olivia and I are both therapists that work at a practice called Effective Artistry, which practices neurodiversity affirming therapy. We can work with clients in Illinois and Wisconsin in individual, couples, family, and group therapy. And Olivia is here for it all, and you're welcome to reach out to her if you're interested in working with Olivia. And we would love to hear any like thoughts, questions, resources, anything on your mind. And we're happy to be with you today.
Yeah, thanks for crafting a curious path.
Yeah,
Bye,
so
guys.
crafty.